In my Indigenous Studies class, I had learned about the concept of two-eyed seeing, which is basically living with your Indigenous ways of being while maintaining like the settler construct, I guess. Well, it's more connecting with my heritage than reconnecting. I didn't grow up with it. I had a little bit of Indigenous experience on the settlements, as my dad had built some houses on Métis settlements, and so working for him during the summertime, I got to go out to the settlement and meet some really wonderful people that had kind of taught me about Indigenous culture being very resourceful, and that kind of ties into the recycling aspects, like reusing things that you already have. I try to reuse materials as much as possible. I believe that many artists, including myself, have what I call material anxiety. If I go and I spend a bunch of money, which is really hard to come by, on materials such as like really expensive paints and whatnot, I'm really reluctant to use it. Just knowing how expensive it is, and that if you run out, you have to go buy more. Whereas reusing materials, if you run out, I can go out to my tree in the backyard and get more pine cones. Well, the original conception was just solely the wood, and it felt very light. It felt very manufactured, which is a little bit like it is intended to feel a little bit manufactured, to make you think about the fact that that these are recycled building materials, and that they were once a fence or whatever they were, and now they can become something else. I'm hoping that people take away an inspiration to be more resourceful, and to look around your own backyard. Like what scraps need to be thrown out? What can you do with them? Like these horns are made out of tin pop cans, and just simple things like that. And there really wasn't a lot of new materials brought into this. A lot of glue, but pretty much everything else was reused. I always paint. Painting was kind of my first art love. Well, I guess drawing. And I paint everything, as like from childhood. I painted everything that I could touch, and I'm sure that was annoying to my household, but now it all makes sense to them. Mark making. Being able to make your mark on something. I have a hard time looking at something beige and boring, and I want to paint it pink. I want it to be reactionary. I want to make people smile. I want to evoke memories. I want to inspire people to be more creative, and especially when people say that they don't do art, or they can't do art, they can't draw, they can't paint. Everyone can do art, and everyone does art. If you're a cook, that's your art. If you're really into housekeeping, and you keep your house immaculate and organized, that's your art. this past couple weeks, this is my art. Yes, there's a local artist that I had discovered fairly recently, Jason Carter, and his work is very simplistic but luminescent, and there's movement in it, even though it's very like color blocked, and there's not a lot of detail, but it's very, it kind of inspired me. Like if they're able to pull these simple shapes together and make something magnificent, then so can I, you know? And seeing that really pushed me into art school. Well, next week I'm doing a sculpture and a painting, a mural for North Country Fair. And I'm currently going into my 3rd year of studio arts at MacEwan. And my goal is to get a master's and teach and make public art as much as possible.